where we are familiar. And now it means that if ever we have to reach for those goals, it means that we'll be challenging ourselves, and meaning we won't be comfortable anymore. There's a lot of things that are involved in stepping out of the comfort zone. So what we do is just think of the worst thing that could happen. And then we're like, okay, I know.
It's like you're convincing yourself.
Yeah, it's like you convince yourself to fail.
Yeah.
So
Just
when
like-
you go try to do that thing, you're not gonna succeed because already you've told yourself
I'm not gonna
you're gonna
succeed.
fail.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna give it your all.
You've just stepped into An Empty Street, a podcast where we casually engage in difficult conversations about relationships, wealth, and health. We are just three curious gentlemen who ask questions almost about everything, and our aim is to find answers from others and within ourselves. We sit down every week to explore unaltered conversations. So let's walk the talk together, and welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
In 3.
2.
It's all in the mind. Start over.
In 3.
2.
1.
We're rolling. Welcome to the Empty Street Podcast
We back.
with another one, man.
Another Tuesday.
Another week.
Another week. Yeah.
And as we always say, we're not walking alone this time.
Yeah.
We're walking with a guest. We'll let her introduce herself.
Oh, my name is Tendani.
Where
Nice
are
to
you
meet
from?
you, Tendani.
Originally I'm from Thohoyandou, but recently staying in Moloto.
Moloto. And how have you been finding? Is Moloto in Gauteng?
No, it falls under Mpumalanga.
Mpumalanga. And how have you been finding Mpumalanga so far?
It's okay. It's okay.
Does the sun come out?
Of course. It's much hotter than this side.
Is it?
Yes.
And
much
compared to, you said, Toando?
compared to Tendo is much hotter.
It's worse there,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
assuming, yeah?
worse.
And that's in Limpopo? Okay.
What are you all about though?
All about, you mean what I'm currently doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm working at the mine there and
Yeah.
at Nukeng Flospa mine.
Yeah.
Yes, we process minerals. Okay, we process fluorspar in particular.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's your specialty.
Yeah, I studied metallurgical engineering. Yes.
That sounds big.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure having you on our seats, Tendani. We're
Walking
looking
with
forward
us.
to today's conversation. The crazy thing is, we just met you right now.
Yeah.
We didn't plan for you to be here.
Yeah,
We just
it all
met
just
with
happened.
You here, and we're like, cool, Tendani. We are cool people. Let's be cool on the podcast.
Yeah.
So here you are. So yeah. But you seemed hesitant when you
At
wanted
first.
to come.
At first, yeah.
You seemed hesitant, which I understand. We are
Strangers.
Yeah.
Can't really
Tell what we're all about.
Yeah. So
With that being said, I should run with that.
yeah.
I mean, with that being said, I'd started off as a question, eh? Like, did you feel like, was there something you had to like overcome before you actually sat here? Was there something you had to like put aside and say, okay,
Yeah.
you know what, maybe I can do this?
Yeah. Because then
Yeah,
you had to
'cause-
wash us first.
Yes.
Then
You felt more
Sit down.
comfortable.
Yes, I had doubts. Like I was having doubts. Like, no, I can't do this. I've never done this before. Being in front of the
A
camera.
camera.
No.
But I
I
mean,
can't.
earlier on you were taking pictures and all of that. Is that not the same thing though?
It's a different thing because here we're talking, but then camera, you just pose for the camera. It's something that I'm used to doing. 'Cause
So,
even normally when I take videos and pictures for social media, I don't talk. It's
Oh,
either
okay.
maybe I'm doing a little bit of dancing,
yeah. Or
or
you eating?
catwalking,
Okay.
or
catwalking.
yes, catwalking, or just pictures. I don't talk.
Ah,
So
okay.
I'm not used
So
to
it's something
talking
new,
in front of the camera.
the camera.
Yes. I'm
But
not
your eyes,
comfortable
I
with
mean,
that.
people's eyes are cameras too. So you talk in front of the camera almost every day. When you talk to someone else, that's a camera.
Yeah,
know?
but then I don't know. It's different. I guess it's all in the mind.
Yeah, it is all. I think it is all in the mind.
It's all in the
Yeah.
mind, yeah.
I mean, I get the part of being hesitant because we talk to strangers, right? And then there's that part of, okay, now you've kind of made acquaintance with these strangers, and then you've found some kind of ground that, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, right? And then it's like you overcoming a fear of some sort, or you stepping outside of your comfort zone, and you try to do something outside your normal routine of doing things, So how, like, for you, do you find that as an easy thing to do normally, or is it hard for you to just step out of your comfort zone and do something just spontaneously?
No, sometimes I do step out of my comfort zone. I do sometimes. It depends. Like now, at first, as I was watching you guys, I was like, no, I can't do this. My voice is too tiny. No, it's gonna sound somehow on the camera. I can't do this.
Okay.
And I was like, no, these guys are just strangers. I won't be able to talk. I won't be able to. But then I was like, no, let me
Try
for once
Try
do
something
something,
different,
something out of my comfort zone and
Yeah.
see how it goes. Yeah.
And what?
So you see, this thing goes hand in hand with self-esteem because I'm
Yeah.
thinking about my voice. I'm thinking about how I'm gonna
How it's
look
gonna
like
sound.
in front of the camera, how it's gonna sound like, and all those kind of things. So
Yeah.
Do you think that's what people normally have to like deal with? Do you think like this having like a low self-esteem is normally what kind of hinders us from either like stepping outside of your comfort zone or just challenging your fears rather, like, or do those insecurities about yourself heighten your fear, and then you're like, you know what, no, maybe I can't do this, and then you end up not actually going through with what you had set out to do. Let's say you want to start a new course, for instance, but now someone maybe tells you, hey, that course, it whoops butt, like uzoshaya 7 years, ungaqedi. And then now you discouraged, and that adds to your fear. Now you're like, I don't want to go through that, a 3-year course for 7 years because someone else went through that. Now you feel you might go through
you're
it.
talking about the exact thing that happened to me. Like
Is it?
when I was doing matric,
Yeah.
I was on this other program, Vets Targeting Talent program, wherein they target learners from disadvantaged high school,
Okay.
best performing learners.
Okay.
So I was one of those from grade 10 to grade 12. So we used to go to Vets like every
Weekend?
June holidays
Oh,
for like
okay.
2 weeks. Where we
So it's like
experienced-
vacational work
Yes,
type
where
of
we
thing.
experienced life, the varsity life, but
Okay.
while we're still in
Studying at high school.
at high school.
Yeah.
So we had like sort of like mentors
Mm.
where they were already studying
Yeah.
at varsity, so they had vets. So this other lady who was our group mentor, because
Yeah.
we were in
groups.
Yes. And then she was studying at aeronautical engineering. And I was like, I want to study that course. I want
Yeah.
to study aeronautical engineering. It's all about the design of aeroplanes,
Oh,
aircrafts,
okay,
and all
okay.
that. I was like, I want to study that course. And then I think it was maybe March holidays or something. But then when we went there in June, and then when I was asking her about it, and then she kept on saying, this course, it's stressing me, it's depressing me, it's so difficult and stuff, it's difficult. And then imagine I had
discouraged you,
I had already applied for it as my
your first choice.
and then my second choice was
Metallurgical
metallurgical
science.
engineering, and then my third choice was microbiology or something like that.
Yeah.
And then after that I was like, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that course anymore. She said she's failing.
So it discouraged you basically.
She said she's failing. No, I'm no longer gonna do that course anymore. Then I was like,
Something else.
it's fine. I'm just gonna go for my second choice.
choice.
But then fortunately Fortunately, I got accepted for my
first
second
choice.
choice.
Oh, okay.
And then the aeronautical engineering that I got
One-
discouraged.
yeah.
They didn't even accept me for it.
Mm.
But then
It was okay since
it was okay since
your
well,
choice now was
I
made
had
up.
changed my
Your
mind
mind, yeah.
about it. So you see, sometimes fear can be instilled because of
Someone
other
else,
people's
external,
experiences
yeah.
and all those
Yeah.
kind of things. But then sometimes I feel like it doesn't mean that you have to
Listen
act
to that.
based on that.
Oh,
You
okay.
might find that you can go for it and succeed because people are different.
I mean, it's what we normally sometimes say is that like you recently just said that in the previous episode that like standing guard of what comes into
Yeah,
what you
it's-
consume,
yeah, what
you
you
know,
consume.
like this particular example, you could have, I mean, a different person rather can in the same situation, what they could do is like they can listen to what you have to say, you know, there's nothing wrong with listening, but then don't take it in and consider it as being a reality.
Yes.
Because you haven't went through that experience
and people,
yet.
experience.
people are different.
And people are
Yes.
different, so you could have
experience
still
is
went
not yours.
and did that
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
and turns out that it's
For
not.
you,
Yeah,
it
it's a
was
breeze.
easy,
You know, it's a
yes.
breeze. So I feel like even though sometimes we listen to what other people have to say, it's nice to take advice.
next, yeah.
It's nice to take advice and
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a second opinion on stuff,
yeah.
you know. But some advice is not good. You know, sometimes we need to be aware of what we take in, you know, what we consume, and know what is right and what is not good for you, you know, because that now it led you down a different path. Whereas what you first fell in love with was your first choice, you know. So those kind of things. I mean, it worked out well for you at the end of the day, you know. Now you actually kept with methodological
Yeah,
and you're doing
sometimes-
well. But sometimes it could end up being like a total different path, and then you end up hating that second path because the first path was derailed by someone else's comments. You know, so yeah.
Sometimes maybe it's better to experience it yourself if whether you're gonna fail
True.
or not. If
Yeah,
you fail,
yeah,
then
at least
it's
try
fine.
once.
At least
Yeah,
you try.
at least try once.
Yeah, and
before
then
thinking no,
maybe
things
it
won't work.
would have been successful, but at least you know you tried your best.
But I
Unlike not trying
At
at all
all.
and then regret later.
But though I feel
true.
like we do need such advice, or we do need to hear that, right? Based on this, if now someone now tells you that this thing is hard and will beat you up, right? You get the tone, right? You
Yeah.
get even to set the mindset. You're like, okay, I can do it, right? Even now you get ready to that point. You're saying, "Good, I'm going to face a challenge,
Yeah.
and I'm up for it, right?" So while I was doing grade 7, I had a friend who was doing grade 8. I was in primary, then he was high school.
Yeah.
Then now, when you get to grade 7, now you have to choose the secondary that you want to go to.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I had so many choices to choose from, but there was this one that I wanted to go to. So a friend who was already there, he told me that we are failing. A lot of people, they are failing there. And there's no chance for you to go out during break time.
Yeah.
They lock the gate. You don't go out. There's so many rules, and they fail a lot of people. Once you go there, you fail.
So already they instilling this
Yes.
fear.
Yes. So there are a lot of fear, like, oh shit, I just want to finish. And remember, during that time, I didn't even care about a metric.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted is to get to metric.
Sure.
I pass or fail, I don't
You
care.
just wanna get
I
there.
just want to get to metric. Then I'm done with school.
Yeah.
Right? Now someone comes to me and tells me that you're going to fail when you get
Ganyiwa na.
yes, but then I was like, okay, let me just try it.
Sure.
Was part of the thing which I needed to hear that. Then after hearing that, I went there and I never failed any grade.
So it just prepared you.
Yes. So it makes sure that I understood what I'm the challenge that I'm taking.
Yeah, that you're gonna face.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So
then you're like, I'm going to overcome
Yes.
this.
So if now you have to install a fear, but somehow a fear is one of the things that should take it in a manner that
It's a challenge.
it's a challenge.
Yeah, it shouldn't hold
Because
you
life
back.
on its own is a challenge.
Yeah.
Wangithola. Waking up is a challenge.
Sure.
Wangithola.
Yeah.
So izinto ezikanjalo ukuthi somehow isiningi izinto eziyitholayo as le episode besikhuluma, we're consuming a lot of content,
Sure.
right? And content esiyikhonsuma, it changed the perspective.
Yeah,
Every day you
yeah,
change the perspective.
yeah.
But you should understand yourself.
Sure.
And understand where you're going and set that mind with, now despite whatever I have had,
I'm still going.
this is my decision. I'm
Yeah.
taking this.
Yeah.
Then from there you do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the outcome.
Sure.
Because we are still young today. We have nothing to lose.
Sure.
Nothing to lose. But experience to gain. Then I was able to make it out. Then from there I passed throughout from grade 8, 9.
Throughout high school.
Yeah. Until grade 12. And I unfortunately I did well.
Yeah.
I did well. It's like thinking from grade 7, this guy was telling me I'm gonna fail, and he didn't finish school. That one that I'm talking
Yeah.
about didn't finish. If you're watching, I'm sorry, my brother, but yeah, I didn't. Yeah, and so on.
But it's all about mindset.
Yeah,
it's
it's
all
all
about
about
the
mindset.
mindset. Other people's experiences are there for us to like
Learn from.
From them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's to protect us from repeating
Going down the same path.
Yeah.
But you can
Yeah.
easily just filter what's a mistake and what's a good thing to take from someone.
Sure.
And in situations whereby that fear is instilled in you, you have to understand that people are different.
Sure.
So, for instance, in the case that someone tells you that a course is hard, or we are with so it's difficult to pass there. It's like it's their own experiences, and you don't know what they are going through that hinders them from finding things easy or finding a flow in whatever they are doing.
Yeah.
They could be in a household whereby they have to do all the chores up until late, and then they don't get time to study.
Sure.
Then they have a short amount of time to get into their books, and now that makes them underperform in whatever task they have to do on that course or,
Yeah.
or module. And for you, Toluguti, when in your household there's a helper or there's 3 siblings you have that assist you with tasks that you have to do
Yeah.
in the household, and then you have more time to actually be in your books and learn. So you see, Guti, the experiences are different. The things that are standing in front of us are different as people because we are experiencing a life
Differently, yeah.
But it should come to you as a person to say, Guti, okay, I am not that person. I understand what they went through. I am not that person.
Definitely.
I'm me, and I'm driven by this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll have to do this and get it done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's all about the mindset. Just being able to twist your mindset around and making things fit.
Work for you.
Yeah, work for you, basically.
I
Which-
think, yeah.
Which is why fear can be a good thing, both a good
Yeah.
and
And
a
bad.
bad
Yeah,
thing. Because
yeah.
it can be a good thing in a sense that you will say no.
It's a drive.
They're saying this and this about this cause, but I'm going to kill it. I'm going to
Yeah.
show it that no, that thing is not gonna happen to me. I'm not gonna feel it, and then you'll be driven to work hard
Yeah.
because you don't want that same thing that happened to,
To
her-
that person.
to whoever to happen to you. But then also it can be a bad thing because then maybe already you have that mindset like
You give up easily.
yeah, and then you're like, already they're saying this thing is
So I
difficult,
might as well
so I
just
might as well just
go with what they
then you
say.
end up failing. So it can be a good thing or a
Yeah.
bad thing. Both.
What do they
It
say
just
about fear?
depends on how
Yeah.
you take it.
You say fear stands for false evidence appearing real.
Yes, yes, true.
But then now let's take it to before the podcast started, right? We had to have that guy to say, looking at TikTok, see TikTok, Twitter, the way it is, you see there are a lot of canceling people right there, and people who are going out of the society programming, right? Because wherever we're talking about most of the time in this podcast, some of the things that conversation that we normally don't have, right? It was one of these fear that we had to swallow, like, okay, let's just do it. and talk about things that we not normally talk about and put it out there for people to consume. That was one of the fear to even start this. But then we had like, even this generation, we had a lot of fear, because right now there are things that we were taught in our childhood, right? Now we have to redefine or recheck them. Are they still working for us? Now to pave your own path is a real challenge, and even is a real fear that you have to face, because you need to understand one thing: you don't know what is at the end. Now we have to pave a new path. So now starting something new is always a challenge. Even starting a new habit is always a challenge.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it's more the unknown.
And it's always likely that you're gonna think, the first thing you're gonna think about when you have to do something that's gonna make you step out of your comfort zone, or something new, the unknown. The first thing that you're gonna do is think about the worst thing that could happen.
Exactly.
So it gets to show, Guti, you don't believe highly in yourself. I mean, it's natural to feel fear.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
natural,
it's natural.
to be doubtful about taking a step.
Yeah.
For instance, all of us here, it's not my goal. We have like goals that we know could put us in a position in our lives where we'll feel very content.
Yeah.
But just because we are where we are familiar, and now it means that
Comfortable.
if ever we have to reach for those goals, it means that we'll be challenging ourselves, and meaning we won't be comfortable anymore. There's a lot of things that are involved in stepping out of the comfort zone. So what we do is just think of the worst thing that could happen, and then we're like, okay, I know.
It's like you're convincing yourself.
Yeah, it's like you
Exactly.
convince yourself to fail.
Yeah.
So
Just
when
like-
you go try to do that thing, you're not gonna succeed, because already you've told yourself
I'm not gonna
you're gonna
succeed.
fail.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna give it your all. And that's something that happens with most people who want to start something, a business,
it's
most
business,
especially.
exactly.
Most especially, you have this crippling fear that, what if I'm gonna fail? What if I'm gonna lose money? What if I'm gonna lose people around me? What if I'm gonna shame myself for doing this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna embarrass myself for doing
will
this.
laugh at me.
Yeah, one. So people will see me as a failure, and you get to understand that, like, there are principles. For instance, when it comes to like when you look at the successful people, the top achievers up there, when you look at them, you'll understand that, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook is the biggest thing he has right now. He's running. But you didn't know, Guti, Mark Zuckerberg, before Facebook, he was developing other apps.
Sure.
Sure.
And it so happened that when they failed, Facebook is the one that
That
popped.
worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the most people who are up there that will say we look up to, we wanna be like, we wanna have those lifestyles that they have, or that financial freedom that they have. Those people,
They tried.
failed.
Yeah.
So actually, there's something even in the failure. You're like, okay, let
You
me
learn
give
something.
something my all.
Yeah.
If I fail, it's gonna be a lesson, so that when I do something else, I
It's
use
better.
whatever
Next time.
lessons I get from
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
to be a better person.
Then yeah,
Definitely.
you get to improve on
Yeah.
that.
I think like adding to what you're saying, I think it also leads to like procrastination. You know,
Oh,
you end up like prolonging getting it done because you're like, no, you know what, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, because
That
you don't
fear.
want to start
That
because you
fear.
you
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like Tendani just said, the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, so that fear of the unknown leads you to procrastinating. Then you push it back again instead of you now starting this new challenge that you said you are gonna start with, like working out, for instance. People normally want to start working out in the beginning of the year as a New Year resolution, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, new year, new me. Starts there. It starts well in the beginning of the year, and then you go, you subscribe in a gym membership or whatever the case is, and then now that you have this membership and stuff, now when you have to start, it's like, yo, fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get to the gym. You know, now you prolong. No, I'm gonna start tomorrow. The next thing, it's a month that's gone by, and you've been saying, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. Next thing, the year's gone by. Since it's in Jan, how many people? We're still waiting, Joe. We're still waiting for that post, dog, where you said you're gonna start gym. What was
the way we stand with our account, remember, Uti, we're not saying it is a new year, but we're saying it's another year.
Yeah.
But if now we understand which is another year, that get to understand which I still have to push.
Sure.
But now you're saying which is another year, that's where you start a new resolution.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't meet them.
Sure.
Yeah,
And instead of continuing,
yes.
don't treat it as like something new, but as a continuation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we're starting
It's
the
just a
year
change of
from one.
digit. Just one
The
digit
year's not
change.
starting from one again.
Yeah.
It's just the calendar starting from Jan.
Yeah.
But the years are still counting on. You know? So
Yeah.
it's basically a continuation.
Yeah.
Nah, that's
So sometimes we use time to restrict ourselves. So and another thing is we just wait. For instance, one thing I once called myself on when it comes to getting something done, I'd seek all this information, do this research about that thing that I want to
Particular
do,
thing, yeah.
and look at the downfalls, the pros and cons, all those things. And then I try to gather as much knowledge as I can to get that thing done. But one thing I noticed is that I do that for a longer period of time. I try to gather
research.
a lot of information. So I'm like, okay, let me act on this. But wait, let me just read one book on this subject before I
Before.
can act. And then after that, on that same book, they recommend another book or some other content.
So you
that
jump
I have
onto
to do.
more.
So I'm like, okay, before I actually act on this, let me go and. So it's like I'm taking all this information and I'm postponing actually acting on this thing.
on the thing, yeah.
So it's like it's also based on fear. That's what I can say. But I found myself calling myself out on that one. I was like, no, let me just act.
Start doing.
Because there's no better teacher
Then
as
acting, yeah. Because you
more
learn
than action.
You learn in real time.
And one quote I once had from Gary Vaynerchuk is that he said that if reading was the answer, everyone would have
a book.
healthy bodies.
Oh.
So if you're gonna read about how to make push-ups, it only ends there.
Yeah, you're
read
not
about
gonna do
making
it.
push-ups and go do them immediately. That's the best lesson that you can have. Actually
on it.
doing the
Yeah.
work,
Yeah, act on
getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Nah, ngiyanizwa gents. Ngiyanizwa. I mean, just based on everything that has been said, I don't know if anyone has like any last words or anything that
Yeah.
they'd.
Can we have your last word?
It's based on.
Based on
I mean, maybe before we get there,
Yeah.
maybe we can end it on a question. So, like, as to how then do we unprogram the whole thing of us being fearful of starting something new,
Okay. Yeah.
stepping out of our comfort zone? Like, how do you then channel yourself into stepping out? We said it's a mental thing, right?
Yeah,
We said
yeah.
it's all in the mind. So how do we then train the mind to actually do that more often? Like,
Okay.
do more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
like
yeah.
hold yourself back.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
I think the best thing you can do is to have self-confidence that
Yeah.
you can do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best thing that you can do.
Okay.
Just tell yourself, no, I can do this. Whatever I put my mind into, I can do
You
it.
can do
And
it.
stop thinking about who's gonna think what, who's gonna say what,
Yeah.
or how do I look like, or
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Do it for yourself,
do
for
it
your
for
own
yourself
peace, yeah.
and tell yourself,
own
no, I
peace,
can
yeah.
do this, and just put your mind into it.
Into it.
Yeah.
But how if that person then has a low self-esteem, right, or has no confidence, how do they then gain that confidence in themselves? Because we say it now, but it's sometimes not as easy.
As easy as
You know,
Yeah.
like just getting the confidence to
Yeah.
do something is sometimes it's quite a challenge.
Okay, can I even answer
Yeah,
both
yeah,
of
yeah,
them,
yeah.
right? So I feel like the way the last question is more about within, right? You need to win yourself before you can win the external,
Okay.
right? So if I noqala ukwakha indlu,
Yeah.
there's a foundation, then you have to take it out. Right?
Sure.
Then
And the foundation has to be
Yes,
solid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why they say you have to put one brick at a time. You can't put two bricks. It's one brick at a time, right? So what you need to understand is one thing: is this, Uti. if now they're saying with you, you have to win yourself. Winning yourself, it needs to start inside the room, inside your own room where you're alone.
Yeah.
Because the real person
That's
is the
you.
one inside the room without
Anyone
any other
around,
people
yeah.
watching you, right? So if you can win that person, you win yourself. Then you can win the external effects, right? So what I'm saying is this: if now, maybe let's say we have that one fear you let's say one fear you wanna start a gym. Maybe you have that one fear you push up, but as much as you push up, I'm afraid I can't even last.
You can't do one.
Yeah, young told. So now in days of to release the fear, you need to start. Just do one.
Do one, dude. Yeah. At least try. It's what Tendani was saying. At
see
least
how
try.
it goes.
Young told, if you can just do one a day, one.
You
Then-
get better.
Then
Then tomorrow
better.
You
one
improve
again.
every
Young told.
day, you improve.
Then another day we like, okay, let me just do two. Young told. Then from there the fear now it gets better.
Yeah.
If it was 100%, now it's 90.
Yeah, I mean,
Another day is 80.
another analogy
Yeah.
on what you just said is like a glass. If you put like a drop in a glass every day, one drop, obviously you won't see a difference, right?
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
do that for 365 days, you want to get a full glass, you know?
Definitely.
So it's basically the same analogy.
Yeah.
It's just applying yourself every day.
Every day.
A little will add up to
It's like
something huge.
practice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
practice.
you see, even those ladies who enter the Miss South Africa
Yeah.
competition,
Yeah.
most of them don't immediately go
Get there.
straight for,
Yeah.
for Miss South. They start with all
The
these
small ones, beauty
pages.
pageants.
Then they
Yeah.
get comfortable, and then they build their
Confidence,
self-confidence
yeah.
in answering those
Questions,
questions and all that. So by the time they enter Miss South Africa, they already have,
That
they know what
confidence.
to expect. You know,
Yeah.
they already have that confidence. So that's how.
Their cups are full.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes.
So last week, my friend.
So for me, my last words, just gonna advise on something very practical. There's a book by Susan Jeffers titled "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway." I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So, first of all, read that book,
I know that book is
and
nice.
and secondly,
That's nice. Though.
just do something that scares you each and every single day. Just try to do one thing each and every single day, something that scares you. As they are saying, Guti, it builds up. It builds up.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all for me. If you are afraid of people, just say hi to one person
1%.
each and every
Yeah,
single day.
Yeah.
The next day, start a conversation. The next day, in an awkward situation in an elevator, just be the big guy and break
Say
the
something.
silence.
Yeah.
So
from there you win.
yeah,
You win.
That's all for me.
You win.
That's all for me.
As we always say,
Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of your pockets. This is the Empty Street Podcast, and we signing out.